Me, thoroughly enjoyable game, Ben.
Brilliant advert for the FA Cup, it really was. I said at the beginning that shackles just get loosened just a little bit for the FA Cup games, and we saw it tonight. It was proper end-to-end, lots of goals. That's what we want to see.
We didn't see an upset, Joe, but this really is what the FA Cup is all about. So much entertainment out there and drama.
It's drama, moments. We was probably denied one of the great FA Cup moments with that equaliser. This place, the roof was off.
It was the free kick for me when they went to Mickey Thomas in the crowd.
Yeah.
It was like, is this his moment?
That's what it does to the FA Cup. You start, these things happen and your mind goes back to big moments in this club's history. And I think, there's a lot of sad faces leaving here tonight. But I think once they go home and think about where they've been and where their club is, they should be very proud. And that's not being condescending, because there's some very, very good players in that Wrexham team. But they really give Chelsea a scare tonight.
Phil Parkinson, how will he be feeling right now? We'll hopefully get his thoughts shortly.
I think he'll be very proud of his team. I think, first of all, he got his team selection perfect. He did. He got the setup perfect. And Wrexham have got this real kind of quiet confidence about the way they build up. They like to take their time with it, very patient, and that paid off tonight. I thought they were waiting for the break, the ball in behind. Played it out really nicely, but I think if you look on the balance of play, they were actually quite unlucky today. They really were.
Let's take a look at the story from the second half onwards, because at half-time it was 1-1, and in the second half, in the early stages, Wrexham actually did really well to then eventually swing the game back in their favour when they scored.
Yeah, they did. You thought at half-time would Chelsea might make an adjustment. The ball comes in here, just gets out. It's a good. It keeps it down, and then the ability and the flick to score. I think Neto could quite do a little bit more, maybe gets out to him, but that is a little bit of ingenuity, bit of quality. Look at that, instinctive, again and again they're back in it, and the place was absolutely rocking.
A lovely strike. You just need a pure contact. You're kicking it through a melee of bodies. You're hoping for a little nick, even if it's a Chelsea player that nicks it, but it's a fantastic finish. Just deft little touch.
He had a great game as a whole, didn't he, Callum Doyle, because he gets the goal, he provided the assist for the opener as well.
Yeah, he did. He ran his socks off as well. You could see there was, and in fairness, there was half a dozen or so players on their knees at the end. They really were. And like I say, 4-2. It doesn't really tell the true story, does it? At
that point, after that Callum Doyle goal, they're 2-1 up, but just 4 minutes later, and this was a real sucker punch, because Chelsea equalised through Achampong, Joe, and it just didn't allow Wrexham to build on that momentum.
Yeah, they say when you score a goal, that's when you're at your most vulnerable, because the emotions are up and things like that. Chelsea get some good possession, they play it through, and then the secondary press comes through, and Achampong just keeps running, ball drops to him. And he just, as a centre half does, he does the right thing to do. You just go with violence there. You're close enough, and he just roofs it,
leathers it.
Yeah, and the last goal, the roof came off. This one, it silenced it and took the wind out of Wrexham.
I feel for George Thomason there. You can tell he's trying to hold him off, but his legs, they're just gone. They haven't got anything left in there.
And that was before they went down to 10 men as well, because after that, heading into extra time, there's a yellow card, there's a booking for George Dobson, but then VAR take another look at this and they upgrade it to a red card. He can't have any complaints, Joe, can he?
I don't think so, because, you listen, the crowd are going to go home and they're not going to be very happy with VAR, but that's what it's actually there for, VAR. I think, look, because this could have gone very wrong for Garnacho if you think about it. He takes him around, bang, it's excessive force. I think the referee actually should have seen it initially. It's just a rush of blood from Dobson. He got his second booking.
Even from a Wrexham perspective, no complaints?
Yeah,
Ben?
I feel for him. He's not a malicious player, and it's not a malicious tackle either, but I think this is the subtle difference when you're playing against Premier League opposition. The speed and the sharpness of players like Garnacho, Pedro Neto on the other side, they draw you in, and they ask for that little red card like it was tonight.
So into extra time, Wrexham down to 10 men, and then Alejandro Garnacho makes it 3-2. I think everyone, including us, thought this actually wasn't a goal. It looked like it hit the post and came back out, but it actually hits the base of the goal. Bit of a strange one.
Yeah, strange one. It's just these dodgy goals that they got here. We would say training goals, and it does happen in training, but from the angle we looked, we was like, what's happened there? But it's a wonderful ball in, first of all. There, delivered it at the far post, and all he's got to do is concentrate, and all you're doing in that is trying to get a good surface on it, bang, goal. And at this point I thought this should be a more comfortable cruising in, but that wasn't meant to be.
Is Garnacho finding his best form right now of the season?
Against Aston Villa is the best I've seen him in a Chelsea shirt, and Liam was talking about him, said he's been training well, performing well, he's concentrated, and sometimes we're waiting for it with Garnacho where something will just click and he can do it consistently. He was brilliant tonight again, so that's 2 games he's put together now. you know, if you're looking to the gaffer thinking PSG, I should be starting.
Just behind us out on the pitch, I believe Rob Mack is out on there, one of the owners. He's just heading over to see some of the players or some of the fans that are out there in the corner. Yeah, I mean, how will they be feeling, Ben? You know them well.
I think they'll be proud. I do. I think they'll be really, really proud. They'll be into the changing rooms in a minute, giving high fives to everybody because it was so close. It really was. It was so close. And I think that's all you can ask. When you're coming up against Premier League opposition, just take it to the wire, and that's what they did.
And talking about close, this is how close. This VAR decision for this offside on Lewis Brunt. I mean, we all thought this was an equaliser. So did the 10,000 fans here in the racecourse ground as well, Ben.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. It really is. Do you know what? I really hope that the header from Kiefer Moore isn't going in the back of the net, because we'll watch this one back and none of us are really sure whether it was just going in anyway, whether he needed to touch it. But in that moment, rush of blood comes over. You want to get your name on that score sheet, don't you?
Listen, I've no fault of that man there of tapping it in, even if it was going in, because you got to make sure. You got to make sure. And in that situation, he's thinking he's onside. Sometimes you go through on goal and sometimes you think, well, I could be or I couldn't be. He has no idea he's offside there because he's timed his run very well, but it just was circumstances. It's heartbreaking.
As you say, Ben, we were thinking that possibly could have been going in. By the way, that's Sam Smith who got the opening goal of the game, talking to the owners there. And we thought it could have potentially been going in from Kiefer Moore's header. If he hadn't touched it, that would have been allowed.
Exactly. Lewis Brunt.
Let's not think about that.
Lewis Brunt does not want to see that one going straight into the back of the net. But again, like I said a few minutes ago, though, I just feel that for the neutral, those moments, that, you know, the ones where you really get to lose yourself and celebrate a goal. We were all jumping around.
You still lost
here.
yourself. It was fine.
We were all jumping around back here, and then all of a sudden, you know, VAR are checking for something. It's inevitable at the end of the day.
Joe wasn't jumping around until João Pedro scored. It then went 4-2, Joe. I mean, this man, João Pedro, right now, he is a man in form. And when he's on a football pitch, you just expect him to score.
He's a monster. He really is, because he just, you know, he picks this up here. And I think he's decided here what he's already doing. He's playing with him. He takes the centre half over to the left, drags him back. He actually strikes it into the floor. You'll see it from the next angle a little bit better, but everything he's hitting at the moment is going in. And he plays that number 9 role. He plays it not like an Erling Haaland where he's constantly on the shoulder. He will drop in and drift in because he's got quality, but such a good finish.
I've got to say, I'm so happy to see João doing really well. I was with João at Watford, and you could see all the raw elements were there, and he had this real bit of Brazilian flair about him and nastiness as well. But to see him now in the Premier League doing it week in, week out, he's played on the left for us, on the right for us, up top for us. He can do all of those little positions, and I think that's why he's scoring so many goals and being so effective. He's taking up positions defenders don't really know where he's going to be.
What do you think he needed then? Was it just someone to manage him correctly for him to get to this level, or just more minutes, more game time, more experience?
More running the team. Once you start scoring, I was really surprised that it didn't start tonight, to be honest with you, because when somebody's just scored a hat-trick, confidence, especially strikers, they feed off this ego, these strikers do. And when they've scored a hat-trick, they just want to score more and more. And to see him come on, I thought, oh no, here we go.
Phil, I don't know whether you're kind of proud, disappointed, a mixture of both?
Yeah, immensely proud of the boys tonight. I thought we've acquitted ourselves really well. I thought it was a tight game, which is a credit to us for that. And yeah, I thought there's so many elements of our play we've got to be pleased with: the pressing, the work, the discipline, but also some of the football we played as well. I thought we carried a threat tonight, which we thought we would, and we didn't just come here tonight to stop Chelsea. We knew we could play, and we really did at times. And it's such a shame, really, that our first taste of VAR has gone this way, because obviously it will be the talking point.
Yes. I mean, offside is offside, and I don't suppose any of us can argue about that, although you're 2 inches away maybe from a penalty shootout, aren't you?
Yeah, listen, this Kiefer's header almost looks like, was it going in without the touch? Maybe it was going to hit the post. Yeah, listen, absolute marginal, but another one, if it wasn't VAR, if it was round 4, that's a goal which is given.
And the red card, which I know was on VAR review, are you...
It's our first taste of VAR, but I thought that it had to be clear and obvious for the decision to be changed. And Dobbo's gone in with force. The ref's in a good position to see it. He scraped his shin, and he's caught him low down. I think he could have easily just kept that as a yellow. And I don't think in my opinion, I don't think the VAR should have intervened in that. I think anybody who watches it will say it's a tight call, and if it's a tight call, then it should have been left with the original decision. So yeah, it's the first taste at the racecourse ground of VAR, and obviously it hurts that that's such an influence tonight.
In a strange way, it's something you'll hope to get used to, because the Premier League and all that would come with it. But you'll also know, and your players will know, that you can compete at that level, at least on tonight's evidence.
No, without doubt. I think we've got to be so pleased with the way we played. Just everything about the performance was great. There's obviously, of course, there's an element of disappointment, because in any game you want to go and win it. But when we get up tomorrow morning, we're going to reflect to a group of players who've gone toe-to-toe with a really good team. And we've had setbacks in the game, and we've not let it affect us even in the second half. Extra time with 10 men, and let's be honest, 10 against 11 in extra time is one of the hardest things in football. But we've had moments to obviously the disallowed goal. We've had Josh headers before the 90, Lewis's left foot shot. And we've had moments, and we always felt there would be another moment for us, but we just couldn't take it.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, Phil.
Cheers,
Thanks.
It's a great reaction from Phil Parkinson there, and to get his thoughts. I love that he said they didn't come here, Ben, just to stop Chelsea. Where can that attitude take this team?
Exactly that. It's perfect. It's exactly what you want when you're playing Premier League opposition, top Premier League opposition as well. You don't want them to be overawed or scared of the occasion, and they showed anything but that tonight. They were on the front foot, they had a game plan, and they stuck to it religiously. And if, for the remaining, I think, 11 games of the championship season, if they can put performances in like that, they are without doubt going to be in with a shout.
How likely are they to go up?
They're in a great position. They really are. They're 4 points, I think, ahead of Southampton at the minute. But we all know the Championship is so tough. You see some of the results flying around tonight. They've got Hull on Tuesday, the big Wales derby on Friday night against Swansea. But like I say, anything can happen. But the form that they've come into in this, especially in this second half of the season, is going to hold them in good stead, hopefully.
And they will take so much confidence, Joe, from this game, going toe-to-toe with a Premier League side, ahead of facing Hull on Tuesday, who are just 3 points above them in the playoff places in the Championship.
Yeah, they acquitted themselves against Chelsea better than Hull. So they take that, they push Chelsea all the way, like you said, 2 inches away from a penalty shootout. Listen, it's exciting times. I think they're probably, even for their plans, I'd say maybe 2-3 years ahead of schedule. You know, they've got a new stand being built, everything's, in place. But with Phil Parkinson and this group of players, anything's possible. 3
successive promotions is already quite incredible. 4, never been done in English football history, Ben.
Never been done. Probably will never be done ever again as well. It's absolutely unheard of, unparalleled. And they've done it in a... I know there's a lot of people talking about the money that they've spent and they've been able to do it, but they've never done it by getting star names. It's always by getting the workman-like players, the players that are going to be part of a team. And I always think that having a good core of players, good, honest, hard-working players will get you much further than the star names here and there.
OK, well, let's get the thoughts of the Chelsea manager now. Liam Rosenior has been talking to Matt.
Well, Liam, you're through by hook and crook.
We're through. Not the best performance. Really, really difficult game, which we knew it would be. I thought Wrexham were outstanding. This was a proper FA Cup tie. It's the reason why everybody loves the FA Cup. I'm just delighted that we're through in the end, and now we can focus on the game on Wednesday.
Yeah, you obviously made changes. Do you feel that they worked by and large for you today?
We're through.
I suppose that's an answer in itself.
Yeah, that you have to give your players opportunities. You have to see your squad. You have to utilise your squad. This team have played the most games over the last 18 months in world football. It's crazy for me to just keep rolling players out at risk of injury when we want to achieve what we want to achieve. And I trust the group. Today we could have had improvements in terms of our performance. Some of the elements of our play was very good. And this is a really difficult place to come. So overall, positive night through to the next round. And now we can focus on the game on Wednesday.
I'm sure you've learned some positive things. What did you not like so much about your team or the way it went?
Yeah, our game control, certain elements of our attacking play. We didn't have the incision that we normally have, but that's normal because a lot of these players haven't had the rhythm of the games, and that's going to make them sharper and better. So you take, it's not a risk. It was an outstanding team that I put out, and I expected us to win the game. We've done that, and we're through to the next round.
Yeah. The red cards that they received, what would your view on that be?
It's dangerous. I don't ever want to see a player red carded, but for me, Ali could have been really badly injured from that challenge. So they're the challenges that you don't want to see. Wrexham, even with 10 men, were magnificent, and I wish Phil and his team all the best going forward.
And a clean bill of health for you to go to Paris midweek?
Hopefully, that was the aim. We'll check on everyone, obviously 120 minutes for a few, but no, we'll check, we'll get back on the coach and we'll make sure we're prepared for that game.
Wish you well.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thanks, mate.
Joey seems relieved.
Yeah, and he would be. He's made 9 changes. He said to Matt there, you know, the reason he has to make changes is the amount of games that played the club. The club chose to go to the Club World Cup, and there was financial incentive, and the club have got a big squad and the young players. So there's reasons. So, but you know, if you're a football man, if you change 9 players, you're taking a big risk. Regardless of the quality of the players, because they've got to come and they've got to gel, and it's not a team game. You're not just putting names on the sheet. So they've done very, very well tonight, them boys, to get over the line. And it's a cup football, so the main thing is that you're just in the hat.
They had to dig deep.
Yeah, like Joe said, I totally agree. At the end of the day, it's about getting through, and then we'll deal with the aftermath afterwards. And I just think that there were certain moments in the game tonight which I'm expecting a Premier League team to be able to see it out a little bit more easy, especially down to 10 men as well. And I think they've probably got a few questions that are going to need to be sort of addressed and answered in the coming days. But like I say, all that matters at the end of the day for Chelsea is that they're in the hat for the next round.
You'd expect some other players to be featuring in the PSG game that's to come midweek, Joe. But how much confidence has this performance given you ahead of the Champions League, or can you not judge them too much?
No. The confidence I've got going into this tie is from the Aston Villa game. I thought was outstanding. And you think tonight you're going to have Cole Palmer back, Enzo fresh, Casado fresh, Reece James, Fofana, Chalobah. There's going to be multiple changes. And so, listen, put this game to bed tonight. The Aston Villa performance away was a real good performance. So that's where you're going to get the confidence from. You've got to go to Paris and you've got to stay in the game. And that's so crucial because we've seen what they can do. They can obliterate teams when they're moving the ball so fast.
Ben, just a final one on Wrexham. Proud leaving here?
Super proud. They've done everybody. It was just the spectacle alone. It was fantastic. For the neutral watching at home, that's what we want to see from the FA Cup. I'd love to know if the managers enjoyed that tonight. Because during that interview,
Not sure if they
look exhausted. They
Managers
really
don't
did.
enjoy it, mate.
No, I don't think they did.